Sit. Sit. Good boy, sit. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to my kitchen, and as you can see, the babies are here. Sit. 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 Good boy, good girl. Had to give them their goodies so I can get started this morning. How are you this morning? Welcome to my kitchen. As you've seen from my thumbnail, we're going to make homemade pizza this morning. Then we're going to make some Italian meatballs, homemade. And then I'm going to make some hot dog chili, homemade hot dog chili. So, good morning. Welcome to my kitchen. Hope everybody is having a good morning. We've got beautiful sunshine here this morning. And I'm going to wash my hands and we're going to get started. My bread machine just turned off. I made my pizza dough in the bread machine on the dough setting. So I'm going to go ahead and get my hands washed and we will get started. So good morning. Welcome to my kitchen. Trying to get a few things done today to get ready to go back to the camper. So I thought, well, I'll just bring you along while I'm getting a few things done here this morning. So we are going to make a homemade pizza. We're going to make some Italian meatballs. And we're going to go ahead and make some hot dog chili. I also did get my cinnamon raisin bread baked yesterday, so I need to get this sliced. Hello, good morning. How are you this morning? So I do need to get this sliced. So hubby's cinnamon raisin bread is baked, and I'm going to go ahead and get it sliced and in the freezer, so he'll have that for when we go back to camp. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Good morning. So we're going to go ahead and get that sliced and get a few other things done. But my pizza dough just finished in the bread machine. So we're going to start off getting some pizza, homemade pizza made. So let me make just a little bit of room over here. I'm going to bring you over to my little workspace, because if you've been following me, you know I basically do this. Do a little of this, or would rather game. Oh, okay. I usually just have the one game that I do play occasionally, and it's the one that has the dragon. Trying to think what the name of it is. Yeah, it just slipped my mind. It is I can't even remember. Isn't that terrible? Okay, I'm just going to move a few things around here this morning to give me a little more room. And we'll go ahead and get this pizza made. So let me move this bread over a little bit. And I love making my pizza dough in the bread machine on the dough cycle. And I just use my basic anything and everything bread recipe that I've done multiple times on my live streams. Hi, good morning. How are you this morning? We're going to go ahead and get a pizza put together this morning. So, I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And this is just, like I said, what I call my everything dough. I make homemade bread, rolls, dinner rolls, cinnamon rolls, my everything dough. And I absolutely love it. And I've made it several times on my live streams. It's just a basic dough, but it is so nice that you can do just anything that you want to do with it. So I use it for just about everything. And I wanted to let it set for just a little bit here so it'll give me a little more flex for the pizza crust. But it's so easy to work with. It's a really nice dough. Very simple recipe, just a few ingredients. And I've done it, I think, 2 or 3 times. I've worked with that particular dough recipe on my live streams. So let me see how flexible our dough is here. It's getting there. So we're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So I got that started. And we're going to put together a pizza. And then I'm going to make some Italian meatballs. And then I'm going to put on some homemade hot dog chili this morning. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. So how are you this morning, William? Good morning. And as you can see, this is going to be a very thick pizza. I like a thick crust, as you've seen from my thumbnail, if you've seen my thumbnail. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of take my hand and use this part of my hand, and I'm just going to try and move it around so I have a nice crust. Now, if you like a stuffed crust, this has got plenty of extra dough, so you could actually make a stuffed crust at this point. You could put your cheese in, and then just roll your dough back over, and then form your crust and make you a nice stuffed crust. But I'm just going to do a basic pizza this morning. Going to kind of push it back just to make sure everything's in place, and then I'm going to put it in the oven here for about maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to let it rise a little bit. But I absolutely love just putting my dough, my pizza dough mix in the bread machine on the dough cycle and just letting it mix everything up for me, and then I have an absolutely beautiful pizza crust. And then I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to put a few holes in here so everything rises nice and even in the oven. So just a few little holes there. I'm going to let my oven heat up to 350, and then I'm going to go ahead and just set that in there and let it rise a little bit. So, only thing I'm going to be using with the pizza is hi, good morning. I have some virgin olive oil, and then I'm going to make my own pizza sauce. So while I'm waiting for the oven to heat up, I'm going to go ahead and put together my pizza sauce. So I have a little brush for my olive oil, And I'm going to be using, this is just an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And I'm going to be making my own pizza sauce. So I hope everyone's doing good this morning. My old hands just don't want to work very good today. It's just one of them days, but we will make it through this. So I'm going to get the pizza started first, and then I'm going to put together some homemade Italian meatballs, and then I'm going to start some hot dog chili. And I just need a spoon. And let me get some sugar. I'm going to be using just a little bit of sugar. Got my olive oil. I've got my tomato sauce. So 8 ounces of tomato sauce. Now this pizza dough that I'm doing was probably, you could have done too thin pizza crust if you would have wanted to, because it's going to be a very thick crust. And I like a sweet pizza sauce, so I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons. Let's do 3. Let's just make it 3. About 3 tablespoons of sugar. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of Italian seasoning. And then I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder. And that's all I'm going to add to my pizza sauce. So it's your pizza sauce. You can add whatever you want. I'm going to turn on my exhaust fan. So I've got my pizza crust ready. I'm waiting for my oven to get to 350 degrees. I've got my pizza sauce made. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven. And I'm going to let it rise for about 10 minutes. Just enough to get it started to rise and let the crust start to form. So my pizza sauce doesn't make my crust runny and moist. So there's my homemade pizza sauce. And we're still waiting for the oven to preheat because I forgot to turn it on, but that's all right. So, good morning. I've got several things I want to get done this morning. I definitely need to slice the cinnamon raisin bread. We got it baked, so I want to get that sliced and in the freezer for hubby for his breakfast for here into the camper. And I did get his cookies made. He's got a whole container of cookies, chocolate chip cookies, so he's good on his desserts. And then yesterday I did get his blueberry waffles made to take to the camper, so I got that done. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven. It's getting there. It's almost up to temperature, so I'm going to go ahead and get that in there. I'm going to let that just start raising for just a few minutes. And I'm going to move back over here. And while that's doing that, I want to go ahead and get started getting ready to make some homemade Italian meatballs. So I've just got a small scoop to form my meatballs. I went ahead and lined a cookie sheet with aluminum foil. And I've got, as you were seeing yesterday, if you watched my live stream, I use 1 pound packages of hamburger. That's about what I need for my small family of 2. So, this is not from yesterday. This was what I already had in the freezer that I'm rotating. So this is part of my freezer rotation. So I've got 1 pound of hamburger. I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands real quick. I absolutely love homemade pizza and homemade meatballs and homemade hot dog chili. So we're going to get those all done today. Okay. So what I'm going to add now, I've got 1 pound of hamburger. And this is just quick oats. And I'm going to add some quick oats as a filler. I don't really have an amount. What I'll do is put it in and then I'll check for dryness. And then I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. Because we're making Italian meatballs. And then I'm going to make, see, I'm going to add some garlic powder. Go ahead and finish that one off. And then I'm just going to use my hands and stir this up. Whoops, I have a kitty getting ready to come through. No, kitty. No, baby. And my oven has preheated. So let me give this probably, I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. Oops. We'll let that run for another 5 minutes, and I'll go ahead and get this mixed up. And these are just an Italian meatball, just basic, with a quick oat filler. I had made meatballs a couple live streams ago, and we had meatball hoagies over the weekend at the camper, and they were delicious. So I needed to make some more meatballs. I used all my meatballs up over the weekend at the camper. And that feels pretty good. I'm not going to add any more filler. So that was probably about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of quick oats and 1 pound of ground beef. And I'll get this mixed up, and then our pizza crust should be ready. And we'll get it out of the oven, and we'll get the pizza put together. So good morning if you're just coming in. Hello. I'm getting an early start today because I need to get a lot done. And I think I'm going to have blueberries that need picked today, so I want to get to that before it gets too warm outside. Oh, that's going to be a nice filler. Make sure I get everything mixed really good. All of my seasonings. And now I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands again. Oh, my nose is itching this morning. Okay, whoops, oops, sorry. Didn't mean to bump you all over the place. Okay, so we got our meatballs mixed up. Go ahead and put those together as soon as I take this pizza out of the oven. And it should be pretty close. Let me take a look. Oh, that's perfect. Let me go ahead and get everything moved over here. And move you this away. And we will get ready to put this pizza together. So we can get a hot plate ready. Oh, that looks wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's going to be a nice, big, thick pan pizza. So we're going to go ahead and get that put together. So if you're just coming in, I made my own pizza sauce and I just used an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. I added a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of Italian seasoning, a little bit of sugar just to sweeten it. And we're making a very big, deep dish homemade pizza. I like a very thick crust. My husband likes a thick crust. And then I made the pizza dough in the bread machine. It was just finishing. So that's homemade pizza crust. And I just put it in the bread machine on the dough cycle. And it makes absolutely delicious pizza. And I like a lot of sauce, so it depends on how much sauce you like on your pizza. And this crust could have probably made at least 2 thin crust pizzas, but my husband and I both like very thick crust pizzas. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just making a basic pepperoni and cheese pizza. And what's nice about making your own pizzas is it's your pizza. You can add what you want. Spread that out just a little more evenly. There we go. That looks better. So I just have some mozzarella cheese. My husband likes extra cheese. So I'm just definitely getting some cheese on there. And I'm definitely over. And I divide my pepperoni up into containers. Good morning. Sorry to tell you, I fell 2 months ago. Broke my hip. Had a hip replacement. On my way to recovery. Very painful. Oh my goodness. Sorry, Betty. I'm so sorry to hear that. How are you doing? You doing okay? I hope you're doing better. I hope you have help there that's helping you as you're recovering. No, kitty. No, baby. I have a curious kitty this morning. No, baby. See if I can't move these around and use them. I usually try to put in about what I know I'm going to need for a pizza. And my hubby loves extra pepperoni, so this way he does get his extra pepperoni. And then I'm just going to use the rest of this cheese. Still can't walk, maybe after July 2nd. Yes, Stutter Nursing Home help. Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad you have help. My goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm wishing you a speedy recovery. I hope everything goes very well for you. Okay. So now we've got extra cheese, extra pepperoni. And now I'm going to add just a little bit of parsley on top. Not much, just a little bit. Just enough to give it color. I know broken bones are no fun. A broken ankle, and it was a long recovery. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil to my crust so it browns nicely. So I'm just going to spray a little bit on my brush, and I'm just going to go around my crust. Pan's still a little bit warm, so I want to be careful. I'll get half of it and then I'll turn it around. Boy, I don't burn myself this morning. And my oven's 350 degrees. And this is homemade pizza dough, and I just used my everything dough recipe that I always use. And put it in the bread machine on the dough cycle. So that was just finishing this morning when I started my live stream. Okay. So now we have a deep dish pan pizza. Thank you. I've missed you. I missed you too, Patty. Looks good. Delicious. Okay, so we're going to put this in the oven, and we're going to get this baking for dinner. And I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes, and we'll check it in 15 minutes. So I'm going to bring you back over to this side. Hopefully I'm not making you seasick. And now we're going to go ahead and get started on our meatball. Italian meatballs. So I put my meatballs together. I used 1 pound of hamburger, ground beef, and it was 80-20. I added about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of just quick oats for a filler. And then I added some garlic powder and some Italian seasoning. I've got a small scoop. And I'm just going to put them on the pan. And the scoop is basically to keep them all about the same size, and then I'll go through and form them. My husband loves homemade meatballs. And we had meatball hoagies over the weekend. And then I had made baked spaghetti. So I used all of my homemade meatballs. So I have to make some more meatballs. This is basically using the scoop so I keep them all about the same size. And then I'll go through and form them into balls. And I only have a small family, so I'm not making a whole lot. That way I know I keep everything rotated. And then I think I can put a couple more in there. Maybe about 3 more. So I hope everybody's having a good morning, a good week. Okay, now I'm going to go through and just turn these into little balls. That scoop basically gives me about the same size meatballs. And these are just a basic Italian meatball. I just have 1 pound of ground hamburger. It is an 80-20. And then I added about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of quick oats as a filler, a little bit of Italian seasoning, a little bit of garlic powder. So they're just a basic Italian flavored meatball. Nothing special. About the time that these are ready to go in, my pizza should be just about done. I've got it at 350 degrees. I did put the crust in and let the crust rise a little bit before I added my sauce. And my meatballs, no, they're not all the same size. I'm not perfect. I don't try to be perfect. So I may have some smaller, I may have some bigger. But they're all delicious. That's the main thing. As long as they're delicious, that's what we're looking for. I just try to keep them all about the same size. And I think everything tastes so much better when it's homemade, no matter what it is. Whether it's the pizza that we just put in the oven, or whether it's homemade meatballs, or if it's homemade hot dog chili, which we're going to get ready to start here in just a few minutes. I just think everything is so much better when it's homemade. Made with love. I'm going to have a few extras, so I'm just going to kind of put them in randomly. And again, I'm baking for a small family of 2. So I try not to overstock my freezer. That way I have a larger variety of meals. And I know that if I make this many meatballs, this is going to be enough for at least 2 meals, whether it be meatball hoagies for myself and my husband, or baked spaghetti, or spaghetti and meatballs, or whatever it may be. I know that this will be enough for 2 meals for myself and my husband. I can't space those out a little better. I might be able to get one more row with these extras, so let me just see if I can't do that. There we go. I'll try to keep them about the same size. So it's very quick and very simple, nothing fancy. It's a basic meatball, Italian flavored meatball. That one's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to take a little bit from this one. I just try to keep them approximately the same size. That pizza's smelling amazing. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands. And I'm going to check on my pizza. Okay. So let me check this pizza and we'll see how the pizza's doing. Oh, that's looking delicious. And I'll go ahead and turn it. And then I'm going to go ahead and set it for another 15 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and set my meatballs off to the side. So there will be my meatballs ready to go in the oven. And I'm going to get ready to start making some hot dog chili. So let me go ahead and move this off to the side here. Okay, and I'm just going to flip that over. Now, I'm just making a basic hot dog chili. So, I'm going to be using 1 pound. Let me turn this light off so you can see. I'm going to be using 1 pound of just ground beef, 80-20. This is going to be homemade hot dog chili. Then I'm going to add if you've been watching my channel, you know that a lot of times I will cut ahead and freeze onions and peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of my frozen onions. I'm just going to chop this up just a little bit. And I don't know if you're like me, but I have a favorite cookware that I like to use for different things. I love this pot for making hot dog chili, for making homemade chili, because I can brown my burger and then put everything back in and then make my chili or my hot dog chili or whatever it may be. And this was a very inexpensive pot, but it's one of my favorites. Okay, so I just added some onions and I have some ground beef. I'll turn my light back on so I can see. And I'm going to go ahead and start that on about a medium heat. And I'm just going to let that start browning and sauteing together. So I have probably about another 15 minutes on my pizza in the oven. I'm going to go ahead, I think I can fit. I'm going to hold on them meatballs until my pizza gets done. So we'll go ahead and move over here and we will get my my bread sliced while I'm waiting for that. So let me go ahead and bring over my cinnamon raisin bread that I made yesterday. And I did this in the bread machine. I made the loaf in the bread machine yesterday. Hubby loves cinnamon raisin bread. I think he could eat it every single day of the week. So let me go ahead and get some of these things put away. Okay, so while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and slice. And I'm using my bread slicer that I absolutely love. It is a really nice bread slicing guide, and it's called Our Daily Bread. And it has your guide for your knife, and it has the crumb catcher. So when you go to empty your crumbs, it's very easy, and it saves you a lot of mess. And I struggle with my hands. If you've been watching my channel, you know that. So this makes it so nice for me. So I'm going to go ahead and slice this cinnamon raisin bread so I can have it in the freezer, because we will probably go back to the camper tomorrow. So I like to have everything frozen individually. That way I can just take out what I need when we go to the camper. So let me get a knife. Check my pizza. I'm going to go ahead and spin it one more time. Oh, that's looking delicious. Okay, so I absolutely love this guide. If you have trouble with your hands like I do, this saves so much work. And I can just lay my bread on there and just put my knife in the guides. I get nice even slices. And I absolutely love it. It just helps me to make my kitchen task a little bit easier for me, since I do struggle with my hands. And the cinnamon raisin recipe that I had, I used from the bread machine recipe book, and I just followed the recipe. And then I just let this bake in the bread machine yesterday, because I had a very busy morning yesterday. So if you're on my live stream, you've seen that I had a busy morning yesterday. So what I'll do is I'll slice about half the loaf. Oops. And then I will move that half, and then I'll move my bread up. But this makes it so easy You can see how nicely those are slicing. I have very little effort using my hands. So this really helps me out so much. And I ordered this on Amazon, our daily bread slicing guide. And it was very inexpensive. And I've been using it for several years now. And then I'll do half a loaf. And you can see what beautiful cinnamon raisin bread that makes. Absolutely delicious. And then I'll just set that off to the side. And then I'll finish slicing the rest of my loaf. The only downfall that I do have with using the bread machine is if you don't take your paddle out, you do get a large hole in the bottom of your bread. That's the only downfall I have with making it in the bread machine. And I was quite busy yesterday, and I didn't take out the paddle. Now mine does have an alarm that tells me to remove the paddle, and I was quite busy, so I apparently missed the alarm on it yesterday, and so we have a little hole in the bottom of the loaf, but it will be all right. I used to buy my husband the little loaves of the cinnamon raisin bread, but it has become very expensive at the store. So I started making his cinnamon raisin bread here at home, and he absolutely loves it. And I'm going to try and get one more. Beautiful cinnamon raisin bread. And then what I'll do is divide it up about half and half, and then I'll put it in my freezer bag. I'm going to check my burger. I definitely need to stir my burger. I just want to brown this, and then I'll drain it. And I'm turning this down to low, so I don't over brown it at this point. That way it can saute those onions nicely. So, now I'm going to go ahead and put my bread in some Ziploc baggies. And what I'll do is divide it into two 1-gallon bags. That way I can freeze it. And I can use 1/2 loaf at a time. That way, as a small family of 2, we're not wasting. And this freezes so nice. I just take it out and thaw it whenever I'm ready for it, and it's just like baking a fresh loaf of bread. So it does freeze and store very nice in the freezer. And that way I can take out 1/2 loaf at a time. And I'm not wasting any bread for a small family. And my husband absolutely loves big breakfast. And he loves his cinnamon raisin toast. He can eat it every day, 7 days a week. I think he might be just a wee bit spoiled. Just a wee bit. So that will be my 2 loaves of cinnamon raisin bread. I'll put one in the freezer and then I'll leave one out for us to use now. So we got that done. And I'm going to check my pizza. Okay. All right. So let me bring you back over here and we will check our pizza. See how that's going. I'll go ahead and move that. Oh my goodness. Oh. And we have pizza. Don't that just look delicious? Nice thick crust. Oh, that looks absolutely delicious. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my meatballs in 350 degrees. And I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. And I'll bring you over here so you can see the pizza. Delicious. And I added extra cheese because hubby loves extra cheese. So that is an extra pepperoni, extra cheese, thick crust, pan pizza. Okay, so now we're going to go back over here and we're going to work on this hot dog sauce. I spend $50 on a pizza and it doesn't look as good as yours. Oh, well, thank you, Betty. I love everything homemade. If I can make it homemade, I just think it tastes so much better. Now that crust is a homemade crust. I did that in my bread machine, and that's my same dough that I used to make sandwich bread, cinnamon rolls, dinner rolls. It is such an amazing dough. I use it for everything. Okay. My burger is nice and brown. My onions are nice and translucent. So I'm going to go ahead and drain that. Has my small drainer full of blueberries at the time. So I'm going to use this big one. Hopefully we don't make a mess. I shall see. And I'm just going to strain that burger. And onions. Hopefully I don't make a mess. We shall see. Oh, that's awesome. Not too bad at all. Now, I'm going to use that same pan, and I'm going to continue to make my hot dog chili. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe that pan down a little bit on the top, where I just drain that hamburger, and then I'm going to put my hot dog chili together in this same pot. So I'm going to turn this big light off so you can see. And this is 80-20, but it still has quite a bit of grease in it. So I want to try and get as much out as I can, because this is going to be hot dog chili. I'm just going to put that right back into the same pot. Or pan, saute pan, saucepan, whatever you prefer to call it. Okay, so I have the brown beef and the onions sauteed together, and now I'm going to put my sauce together. I'm going to be using some ketchup, some barbecue sauce, and this is just Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce. I'm going to be using some mustard, and I'm going to be using some brown sugar. And this is just a simple hot dog recipe, and I really don't have any measurements, exact measurements, so I'll just kind of guesstimate. Maybe I'd say maybe close to a fourth to a half a cup of ketchup. You want to do about the same amount of your barbecue sauce. Whoa. That barbecue sauce really wants to come out of there. And I do this to taste. And then mustard, I'm light on my mustard. You don't want a whole lot of mustard. But you do want the tanginess of the mustard. So probably about 2 tablespoons or so of mustard. Now I'm going to go ahead and stir that all up. Now I'm going to add some brown sugar. Now, if you don't like a sweet hot dog chili, of course you don't have to add the brown sugar. And I'm just going to do, oh, let me see. That would probably be maybe about a fourth of a cup packed. Wash my hands real quick here. And then I want to stir it up, and I'm going to give it a taste to see if I need any more ketchup or any more barbecue sauce or any more mustard or brown sugar. So I'll just basically do this to taste. And it makes such an amazing hot dog sauce, hot dog chili. And I got some barbecue sauce here on the floor, so I'm going to get that up. I don't want to slip and fall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste. And then I'll just go by taste. This will show you what the hot dog chili looks like. And it is so amazing. So I'm going to give it a small taste. I'm going to add just a little bit more ketchup. And just a teeny bit more mustard. So again, I go by taste. Because the barbecue sauce was a little more strong than the other ingredients, so I just balance it out. So again, just by taste. And yes, I'm using the same spoon. It's only myself and my husband. Mmm. Delicious. Now, I'm going to set that on low. And I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm just going to let that simmer on low. So let me go ahead and get this put away. And I'm going to check on my meatballs. They're at about 31 seconds on my meatballs. I love this container. It keeps my brown sugar so soft. Okay, let me check my meatballs. Move you back a little bit here. Oh, those are looking absolutely delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the meatballs. That way I know I'm not going to overcook on one side. And I don't want to overcook these because I will be adding them into like baked spaghetti or spaghetti and meatballs or other meatball dishes. So I just want them to be well cooked but not overcooked. So I'm going to put those back in. I've turned them over. And I'm going to give them about another 10 minutes. So I've got my meatballs in the oven. I've got my hot dog in the saucepan. No, kitty. No, kitty. No. Sorry, kitty's getting awful curious over there. Something has got his attention in here this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and put these things away. Out of my way. And I'm going to go ahead and get all of this trash over into the trash can. And I'm going to add a little water in with my bowl here, so that'll make it easier for me to clean. And I'm going to move you back over here. Just adding a little bit of water in there so there's a soap to make it just a little easier for me to clean. Okay. And turn my light back on so I can see. So there is my pizza. As you can see, it turned out absolutely amazing. Nice thick crust. There's my cinnamon raisin bread. So hubby, cinnamon raisin bread is sliced and ready for the freezer. So we'll have that ready to take to the camper. And I'll freeze one half of my loaf, and then I'll leave the other half out, so that way he'll have his cinnamon raisin bread. So that's ready. The pizza is done. The meatballs are in the oven. They have about another 10 minutes. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to make a little bit of room here. I'm trying to get several tasks done here this morning because we're going to be going back to the camper. And I'll be taking some of my hot dog chili to the camper. So I'll be putting them in little storage containers. And I just absolutely love these, especially for at the camp. Because they're aluminum bowls with lids. They are awesome for the freezer. And then if I just want to take out the aluminum pan and put it in the oven or on the grill to heat back up. It works out absolutely amazing. I ordered these through Walmart. If you are interested in storage containers like these, they do come with the lids, which I think is amazing. And they're pretty durable lids. Nice plastic lids. And I'll be putting the hot dog chili in these little pans, and then I'll put it in the freezer, and it'll be easy for me to heat back up at the camper because we do not have the electric one yet. So I'm using the camper oven and the grill and these little pans I can freeze, and then I can reheat them, take them out and thaw them, reheat them on the stovetop or on the grill, and they are absolutely amazing, and it's just the right size for my husband and myself. So I'll be dividing that hot dog chili up in these little containers as soon as that is ready. Pizza is ready for dinner. So while I still have about 4 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and fill up my flour container. And I used a 2-gallon food safe bucket. So while I'm waiting for that to finish in the oven, waiting for the meatballs, I'm going to go ahead and refill my bucket. And when I did my Walmart order, I had restocked on my flour. I keep my flour in the freezer. I freeze it first, and then I go ahead and take it out, let it sit until it's room temperature for at least 24 to 48 hours. That way I know that if there was any little bugs or anything in there, that it was frozen first, then brought back up to room temperature, and then I'm rotating my flour. So what I do is, when I know I'm going to be needing flour, I go ahead and take this out at room temperature, and then I pick up more flour. And that way I know that I'm not overbuying my flour, and I know that it's, I'm maintaining it. And this is a 2-gallon food safe bucket, and it will hold 10 pounds of flour. And this is all-purpose, unbleached. So I know that each one of my 2-gallon food safe buckets will hold a 10-pound bag of flour. And then I am rotating my stock. I'm rotating my freezer, and I keep oxygen absorbers in the flour. I know this is my everyday use flour. And if if you've been watching me, you know that I use a lot of flour, so I'm just using the oxygen absorbers. And I'm using the Food Safe 2-gallon bucket. And I always make sure that I label whether it is all-purpose flour or whether it is bread flour or whatever I have in my bucket. Okay, so let me get that wiped up, and it should be about time to take my meatballs out. And I'm going to go ahead and stir my hot dog chili. And the meatballs are done. And they look absolutely amazing. So I'm going to turn my oven off. And my hot dog chili, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And this pan has cooled down. I'll just spin that there, and I'm just going to use one hot plate. And I'm going to bring over my hot dog chili. And I'm going to get it into some containers. So let me get you there where you can see what I'm doing. And just so I don't burn myself, I do have my handy dandy rag. And then I'm just going to divide the hot dog chili up into these little containers, to-go containers. And I should be able to get about 3 because it's just myself and my husband. So we usually only have about 3 to 4 hot dogs at a time. So I divide this up in about 3 containers. So let me go ahead and take a little bit out of the first one. I'll try to even them up a little bit. And I think that's pretty close. So that will give me 3 containers of hot dog chili. Now, if I had a larger family, I would be putting them in larger containers. But because it's only myself and my husband, that is more than enough hot dog chili per serving for 4 hot dogs, 4 chili dogs. And then I'll just put my lids on, and these just fold over so nicely. For storage in the freezer, I absolutely love them. They're easy to stack. They're easy to transport from here to the camper whenever I'm taking them to the camper. And I'll go ahead and get them made ahead, and they'll be frozen. So that way I don't have to worry about spillage between here and the camper. And right now we have no utilities at the camper at all. That doesn't look like the best lid. Okay. But I absolutely love these to-go containers. And then I'll put these in the freezer and let these freeze. And they will be ready to be transported to the camper when I go back to the camper this weekend. Because it is supposed to be very warm, and with the season for cooking out, I have hot dog chili, homemade hot dog chili made in advance and ready to go. And I absolutely love these little containers. I have them in several different sizes. And I really like the small size for things like the hot dog chili. And then I have a larger size, so if I want to make a to-go meal for two, say I want to put some meatloaf and mashed potatoes and green beans or whatever in one of these, I can go ahead and do individual meals, and it's the same thing. They have the lids, and I did get these through Walmart, and they were not real expensive at all, but they do make very nice to-go containers, as you can see. So now all I have to do is put these in the freezer, let those freeze. We've got pizza, we've got hot dog chili, so there's dinner for this evening ready to go. Homemade pizza with the homemade crust. Homemade hot dog chili, ready to go. As you can see, I've got a watermelon over here for the weekend. Hubby has cookies. Lots and lots of cookies. I made his chocolate chip cookies yesterday, so he's got plenty of desserts. And I think that's all. And then, of course, I did get his cinnamon raisin bread made, and we got that sliced this morning, so that is ready to go in the freezer. And then that'll be ready to go to the camper, and it makes such beautiful cinnamon raisin bread. Absolutely beautiful cinnamon raisin bread. And I just used the bread machine and made the cinnamon raisin bread yesterday, just using the cinnamon raisin bread recipe that came with the bread machine. And my bread machine is a Cuisinart. Let me see if I can bring it over closer. And I absolutely love it. I have this one for here at home, and then I also have one at the camper, but right now we do not have utilities at the camper. So I'll go ahead and get my dough recipe put in, and it's my everything I use dough. I think I have the recipe on one of my other live streams where I was making bread, and then I just do use the program, set it on dough setting, and make pizza dough. Or if I'm going to be making the cinnamon raisin bread, I just follow the guideline and set it on number 1 setting, and just add the raisins whenever it's asked for it, and then just let this bake. So that's what I use to bake the cinnamon raisin bread, and this is the Cuisinart. And I absolutely love it. Like I said, I ended up getting a second one. I had the second one for at the camper. And then my mother-in-law fell in love with it, so we got her one for Christmas. And then she also fell in love with my dehydrator, so we got her a dehydrator for the following Christmas. So, that's done. Meatballs are done, and they look absolutely delicious. So we got meatballs. We have the hot dog chili ready to go to the freezer. We have homemade pizza. Just look at that homemade pizza. Gorgeous crust. We've got the homemade cinnamon raisin bread. We've got cookies ready to go to the camper. So basically that's everything I have this morning. The only other thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to make chicken jerky for the puppies. And then I'm going to go see if I can pick some more of my beautiful blueberries. Whoa, and that has water. These were not quite ripe enough yesterday to put away. And I do have a bunch more blueberries to pick today. So I wanted to get all this done early so I can go out and get my blueberries picked. I can get my puppy's chicken jerky started. And I think that's all I have today. So I want to thank you for coming in and spending time with me in the kitchen. And dinner is going to be amazing. Just look at that crust. I love a thick crust. Okay, so that's all I have today. So I want to thank you again for stopping in and sharing the morning with me. And I will catch you the next time. And as always, go in your kitchen, enjoy your kitchen, try new things. You know, I absolutely love my kitchen. I love trying new things. It may not turn out right the first time, but always try again. You know, enjoy your kitchen and have fun. I learn in my kitchen every single day. I'm learning new things. So, that's all I have. We do have everything done. We have our pizza done. We have our hot dog chili done. We have raisin bread that I did get sliced, ready for hubby, so that's all ready. We've got desserts for the weekend. We've got the chocolate chip cookies. We've got watermelon. So that's all I have today. So I'm going to hop off of here and get my kitchen cleaned up. I'm going to go pick some blueberries, and I'm going to get my puppy's chicken jerky started in the dehydrator. And that's all I have. So I will catch you the next time. And as usual, my coffee's cold. So I've been on here an hour and a half. I'm going to get my kitchen cleaned up. I'm going to get me a warm cup of coffee. I'm going to sit down and relax. Get off my leg for a few minutes. Then I'm going to come in and get some chicken jerky started for the puppies. And then I'm going to go pick the rest of my blueberries today. Well, some more of my blueberries today. I probably have another 2 to 3 quarts of blueberries ready to be picked. So enjoy your day. And again, thank you for joining me today. And I'll catch you the next time. And thank you. Bye-bye, and enjoy the sunshine. It's beautiful here today. Go outside and get some of that gorgeous vitamin D from the sun. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye-bye.